Alright, there we go. Had to fix a few things. Alright. Well, we are live, ladies and germs. I was not expecting to go live with an episode of The Fuel here on a Tuesday. But, let's just say there were some things that were made by some people in the industry that got under my skin, to say the least. So this is a breaking news episode, and we're going to get into things because, like, some of this stuff I've been seeing, I mean, I basically talked about it in the review early Sunday morning, and everything I said was pretty much confirmed. So let's get into it. This is a unexpected edition of The Fuel. This video is sponsored by Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend and by Reaper Apparel Company. Stay tuned till after the video to learn how you can save 10% off of your order. And of course it says right now instead of fucking breaking news. Because of course it does. Nothing ever goes right apparently. But anyway. Welcome in to this edition of The Fuel, a breaking news edition. Well, let me check and make sure. Yep, there it goes. Alright, cool. Just checking to make sure the chat was working on the screen right there. And it is. Alright, so cool beans. So, welcome in to this edition of The Fuel. Here on this Tuesday, September the 24th, 2024. Was not expecting to do an episode of The Fuel today. I was just going to go about my business, you know, getting my second channel set up, which is a channel called Isaac the Survivalist, which I basically let's play like a bunch of survival games and all that other shit. And it's pre-recorded stuff, so I'm basically mass producing them for next season for my new channel. So there's that going down. And then I see some people within the industry, within the NASCAR industry, basically tweeting about all of the negativity surrounding the Bristol night race, and why a majority of the people thought it wasn't a good race. And apparently, according to some people within the industry, unless you've been out there on the track yourself, you can't say any of these things ever. Which is about the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. You know, you can't criticize the company for some of the shit that they've been doing. Otherwise, you'll have people like Kyle Petty and Dave Moody getting their pennies in a bunch, as they usually do. And you see them just getting into it with people online, even when people have reasonable fucking opinions and criticisms. You always see these people in the industry, in NASCAR, that just get their pennies in a bunch. Well, you can add two more to that list, because evidently Kenny Wallace and Kyle Larson didn't really like the criticism that was levied at NASCAR, Goodyear, and the race on Saturday night. And it's something that's really gotten under my skin. And it's something that needs to be addressed. So, this is what Kyle Larson posted today, and it's just full of fucking nonsense. So, let's take a look at this. At noon today, so about 5 hours ago, all this tire wear talk about Bristol got me wondering. Have you ever had a lot of tire wear at Bristol besides the spring of 24? Not much of any. Have we seen great races there? Absolutely. Have we seen duds where Kyle Busch leads 300 plus laps? Sure. Don't know why he felt the need to bring Kyle Busch into this, but okay. From what I remember in my career before the next gen car was we had cars with some disparity that could run closer to one another in traffic and a wheel tire combo that got hotter, which in essence gave us less grip on the long run. I ran with 900 horsepower all the way down to 650 horsepower or less potentially. High downforce, low downforce, and everything in between. Bristol's always been tough to pass. Speed on pit road, and most likely there's a good chance you're going a lap down on the next run. That's the way it is and has been for a very long time. We had more natural cautions from wrecks because cars could run closer, and we never quite made it a full fuel run because eventually someone's right front tire would explode from overheating. I'm not saying I want tires to explode again, but we're trying to crutch this race car on short tracks with the tire and then blame Goodyear every week because cars can't pass. I don't have the answer to fix what we currently have, and neither do you, but please stop blaming Goodyear. It's not a tire problem. And also, have any of you ran around Bristol with or without PJ1 or resin for that matter? Yeah, that's right. So, zip it emoji. Temper your expectations. We're driving spec race cars. And then Kenny Wallace responded to that with this. My man, Kyle Larson Racing, we are in an era in life where people complain for a sport. Sad. The race was awesome and you dominated. The race for positions 3, 4, 5 was breathtaking. Bubba getting by Denny with 1 to 2 laps to go was big. And then he also went on to say that, I haven't got it posted, but he went on to say that IMSA was club racing. Which is about the dumbest fucking thing because IMSA is not club racing. It's sports car endurance racing. Big difference. Evidently, you never watched the Rolex 24 or the 24 Hours of Le Mans before, or you wouldn't be making such a fucking ignorant comment. But speaking of ignorance, you know, I look at this post that Kyle Larson made, and it just epitomizes everything that is wrong with this fucking industry right now. When you have drivers basically talking down to fans and people who have been longtime followers and supporters of this sport that we love. And to see this shit just makes me it just makes my piss boil. You know, and what gets me are the last couple of sentences. I don't have the answer to fix what we currently have, and neither do you. But please stop blaming Goodyear. It's not a tire problem. Really? Because it seems to me like NASCAR and Goodyear just can't get it right. Because NASCAR made a shit car. Let's just get that out of the way. This is a shit race car. And he even said it in the last sentence. We're driving spec race cars. There it is. I even said as much in the review on a Sunday morning. I said that these were basically spec cars. And lo and behold, one of the best drivers in the sport basically confirms it. But stop blaming Goodyear. They're the ones that are making the fucking tires. Okay? And when they basically try to say, well, we're bringing back the same tire that we saw in the spring, evidently that's going to cause a lot of expectations to skyrocket, because what we saw in the spring was one amazing race. One of the best races that Bristol has ever produced. So yeah, expectations are going to skyrocket because of that. Okay, because no, I'm not going to stop blaming Goodyear, because they're as much of a part of this problem as NASCAR is. So no, I'm not going to stop blaming Goodyear until they get their shit sorted. And then these last two sentences just also, have any of you ran around Bristol with or without PJ1 or resin for that matter? Yeah, that's right. So zip it. Basically, he's saying that unless you've run on the racetrack yourself, you're not allowed to have an opinion. And he also says, temper your expectations. Basically, he's telling us to lower our expectations and settle for mediocrity. That's basically what I'm getting out of this tweet. So basically, you have people within this industry that's saying that you have to conform to liking what NASCAR does. Oh, Kenny Wallace says you gotta like this. Oh, well, Kyle Larson says you gotta like that. I don't need fucking Steven Spielberg to tell me what I like or don't like in the movie industry. If I'm sick and fucking tired of saying what I'm saying on the racetrack, I don't care how many fucking Make-A-Wish segments that they do. I'm sick of the fucking racing that I'm saying on the racetrack. And as soon as you come out and say that, you're an internet fan. You're one of those fans. You don't understand how they race on the racetrack. Well, somebody needs to stand up for those of us out here who can't stand what we're saying on the fucking racetrack. And then you got all these people saying, oh, it's not right. You don't understand. Fuck you! A lot of us are sick of this shit. And this is not an isolated incident. This car sucks on the short tracks and the road courses, which under the Gen 6 car produced some of the best racing that NASCAR has ever had. And you want us to temper our expectations. What you dumb motherfuckers need to understand, now I'm talking specifically to Kenny Wallace and Kyle Larson, because you are dumb motherfuckers. We don't need to be race car drivers to see with our own fucking eyeballs what we're seeing on the racetrack. And yes, while I will agree that there are people in the fan base that can, be negative just for the sake of being negative, there are some of us in the NASCAR YouTube universe that tell it like it is and try to give honest criticism about this product and what can be done to improve upon it. I mean, when you have a guy like Eric Estep, who is probably the biggest pro NASCAR tuber, in this space. I mean, he is pro NASCAR on everything. He rarely has a criticism to say about the sanctioning body. Even he said that the race on Saturday night was not that good. He gave the race a 35%, which for him is pretty goddamn low. And by the way, Larson, I didn't say that the race was fucking boring because you dominated. I said the race was boring because it sucked. say it's always hard to pass. Yeah, but it's never been this fucking difficult. And like I said, this is not an isolated incident. All the short tracks have had this problem with this new car. And did the Gen 6 car have it? Yeah, sure, but at least with that, we could actually see some passing, side-by-side racing, crossovers, the whole 9 yards. It's what made the Bristol night race probably my most anticipated cup race of the entire year. For years. And the 2021 edition, I gave a 10. Because I love that race so much. It was a damn good race. What we saw on Saturday night was not a good race. Did it have potential? Absolutely. Because like I said, the beginning of that third stage, we were seeing a great battle develop for second between 6 cars. And it was developing into a great battle for that runner-up spot. And then Corey LaJoie happened. And after that, we didn't see jack fuck all the rest of the race. But no, we can't offer an opinion on it because we've never been on the racetrack. You can't be that fucking ignorant. I mean, seriously. That's like saying you can't have an opinion on politics unless a former president agrees with you. You have any idea how fucking stupid that sounds? You know, for these people to come out, these people in the industry to come out and say, oh, it's not right. You know, you just complaining just for the sake of complaining. No, I'm complaining because the racing right now sucks. Okay? A lot of the racing the last 3 months, all the way back to before the Olympic break, has sucked dick. There have been very few races that I've actually given positive ratings for. Daytona was probably the last one that I've given a good rating for. Since then, the racing has not been good. And I don't get on here and complain just for the sake of complaining or just yell into a camera for, about an hour, venting my frustrations. I literally take the fucking time, okay? You see this notebook? These are detailed fucking notes that I take every single race as bullet points that I can go to whenever I need to when I want to talk about a certain part of the race. And I even color code them and say, okay, this is a restart on this lap with this guy as the leader. The yellow lines indicate when the caution came out and what caused it. Green checkered flag indicates the end of the stage. I mean, I take detailed fucking notes. I even note when pure lead changes take place. Okay, I don't get on here and, just yell into a camera because I don't know what I'm talking about. I literally keep detailed notes on this shit. So don't you fucking come at me and tell me I can't have an opinion because I'm so negative about the product. You think I want to be negative all the fucking time? You think I want to get on here and blow my fucking voice out week after week because this product sucks ass? No. I want to get on here and I want to talk about how good the racing is. I want to get on here and talk about how NASCAR, when it's at its best, no other motorsport can compare. I've said that time and time again. The problem is, this sport is so fucking weighed down with so many bullshit gimmicks like the playoffs and the stages, and all this other dumb fucking bullshit. I mean, it's hard to take this sport seriously anymore. It's hard to take this fucking company seriously anymore. And when you have you fucking thin-skinned jackoffs come on social media and basically say, oh, you can't have an opinion because you've never been on the track. Go fuck yourself. How about that? We don't need to be a fucking race car driver to analyze what we see on the fucking racetrack. Evidently, you've never been a critic before. And it fucking shows because you are so fucking ignorant in what you're saying. And it honestly makes you look like a teetotal fucking moron. I have lost a lot of respect for Kyle Larson with this fucking tweet. Because if you're that fucking ignorant, then honestly, what's the fucking point of even supporting you and this fucking company anymore? Ask me that. Answer me that. What's the point of even supporting this company anymore when all we get is fucking bullshit like this? It's like I said on Saturday night. Everybody within the industry thinks everything's hunky-dory with that fucking, because I got that new. Yeah, I said in the past, I typically support Larson because he's a damn good race car driver. Like, none of what I talked about on Saturday had anything to do with him as a driver specifically. And I even gave him his fucking flowers in that review. I said that Larson put on a fucking masterclass at Bristol. 462 laps led in this day and age is insanity. And he won by 7 seconds, which is, believe it or not, the largest margin of victory in the next-gen era. I even said as much in the review. But I'm not going to support ignorance like this. I'm not going to do it. Because he needs to fucking realize that a lot of the fans that support this shit, they pay your fucking salary, dude. Because without the fans, as idiotic as this fan base can be at times, and trust me, I've seen it online. So on one hand, I can see where he's coming from, but on the other hand, there are people like myself, and Iceberg, and Eric Estep, and Danny B. Talks, that do reviews, and we try to give honest criticism. In the case of me, sometimes I might go a little bit overboard, but I've been watching this sport for a long ass time, most of my life. I've seen this sport at its best, and I've seen it at its worst. And I can tell you with every ounce of certainty I have, when this sport is at its best, it's appointment television. 2001 to 2006. That was, for me, the golden era of NASCAR. Because, for me, every week was appointment television. When you have guys like Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson, Mark Martin, Greg Biffle, Carl Edwards. The list goes on and on and on. Casey Kane. When you have all of these guys in their prime during this era, and every week is appointment television. In that era, we've seen some of the best races of all time. And it's something that I honestly wish that NASCAR could get back to. But with the way things are right now, with this playoff format and everything that they've got in place with, as Larson has confirmed, they're spec cars. And like I said, with spec cars, there's no room for ingenuity. There's no room for creativity. And one of the downsides to having spec cars is sometimes you get really bland racing. And that's something that we have been experiencing, pretty much in the second half of this season. When it's at its own devices, it's at its best, and at its worst, it's unbearable. Yep. You're basically, Marcus, you're preaching to the choir there. I've said that for years. People like Slap Shoes have said that for years. And this is not an isolated incident. It's not just Bristol that's had this problem with the next gen car. Richmond has had this problem, which is why it's lost a date to Mexico City next year. Martinsville has had this problem. Iowa, we don't know yet. I mean, the race earlier this year was actually pretty solid for the most part. Although there were some points where the short track problem did start to kind of creep up. But we've only had one race at Iowa, so it's too early to say for certain. We're going to need probably another year or two to kind of gauge that. But what these people in the industry need to realize is that right now, things aren't all hunky-dory. Yes, it's good that NASCAR got that nearly $8 billion television deal. But the fact of the matter is, this company has still got a laundry list of problems that need to be sorted out. And it's like Slapshoe said in his Dam of Legitimacy video, we need to course correct sooner rather than later, or else there won't be a NASCAR in 20 years. Because eventually the fans will just get sick and fucking tired of the bullshit. I mean, honestly, they were getting sick and tired of it at the end of the 2010s. At the end of the 2010s, NASCAR viewership was basically at an all-time low. Attendance was at an all-time low for a lot of tracks, which is why a lot of tracks had to tear down grandstands and such. I mean, these people in the industry need to realize that it's a symbiotic relationship between the sanctioning body, the teams, and the fans. Because without the fans, what's the fucking point? I mean, as problematic as the fan base can be at times, there are people in this fan base that do actually legitimately give a damn. And when we offer criticism and ways to fix the sport, we do this because we want to see the sport improve. Because the sport can always improve. There's always room for improvement. But evidently, some people within the industry don't see it that way. And if that's the case, then maybe this company isn't worth supporting anymore. Maybe it's time to go support other forms of racing, because this is just fucking ignorance of the extreme. In the highest extreme. And honestly, I have nothing more to say other than that. I just wanted to get on here and kind of vent, because I saw that and it just pissed me the fuck off. And I needed to get on here and just absolutely just tear the industry a new asshole, because I see some of this shit online and it's just ignorance. It's absolute ignorance, and I'm fucking sick of seeing it. I mean, how about for once you take some of the criticism that some of us in the NASCAR tuber space are trying to give to you, and maybe take it and improve the product. Because like I said, there's always room for improvement. There always is. And honestly, if you can't trust us, who the fuck can you trust? And I'm not going to apologize for telling it like it is. I'm not going to fucking lower my expectations like Larson says to do. And I'm not going to keep my mouth shut when it comes to the product on the racetrack. You can get fucked with a pineapple dipped in turpentine over that one. I'm not going to change how I do things on this show. I'm not going to stop telling it like it is. If I like what I see, I'll tell you. And if I don't like what I see, I'll sure as fuck tell you. Okay, I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass just for the sake of it. I'm not going to come on here and complain just for the sake of it. If I think it's good, I'll tell you. And yes, we have seen good racing this year. Just not lately. And we sure as fuck didn't see it Saturday night. And that might offend some people, but I really don't give a fuck. This is my show. I'll say whatever the fuck I want on here. I tell it like it is. No frills, no bullshit. I mean, I thought that's what people wanted nowadays. Instead of all of us, being positive all the time. I mean, would I love to be positive all the time? Sure, but it's unrealistic and quite frankly disingenuous. It's disingenuous to try to sit there and say everything's okay when the fact of the matter is it's not. There are issues within this sport that need to be addressed, period. And if you can't see that, then quite frankly, you're fucking blind. Anyway, that's going to do it. I'm done yelling for today. Hopefully Kansas actually delivers us a good race. That way I won't have to blow my fucking voice out again this weekend. But thank you very much for watching this impromptu edition of The Fuel. And until next time, this is the PackerMan signing out. See you later. Hey. And of course OBS is being a prick, because of course it is. Had nothing but technical problems throughout this whole fucking thing. Let's try this again, one more time. Bye. Hey, what's happening, ladies and germs? This is the man. Tonight's video sponsored by Dove Energy Blend and Repair. It's a Generalist Energy Blend. Great video, Packer. Thank you. I'm just trying to end the damn video and it keeps jerking off on me. So let's try this again one more time with feeling. Hey, what's happening, ladies and germs? This is the PackerMan letting you know that tonight's video was sponsored by Dubby Generalist Energy Blend and Reaper Apparel Company. Special shout out to both of them for sponsoring my YouTube channel. Dubby Energy is a Generalist Energy Blend that contains coffee fruit extract and was designed to give gamers a boost of energy without all the downsides of regular energy drinks like crashes and harmful ingredients. And there are several different great flavors that you can try, such as Dragonade, Push and Punch, Galaxy Grenade, Beach and Peach, Watermelonada, and the limited edition Palm Blom flavor. And don't forget to get you a plastic shaker while you're at it. If you're interested in giving Dubby Energy a shot, there's an affiliate link down in the description box below. In addition to Dubby Energy, this video has also been brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. By clicking on the affiliate link down below in the description box, you'll be able to browse through many of their different wares, such as hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and other cool items. And that's not the only thing. When you place an order and you go to checkout, be sure to type in the code PackerMan and you'll be able to save 10% off of your order. And it would also help me out as well if you use the affiliate link. So thank you if you do. And also, special thanks to both Dubby and Reaper Apparel for sponsoring my channel. Hey everyone, this is the PackerMan and thank you for watching tonight's video. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more great content. See you again next time.